You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day. Oh, yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bro Down Podcast. I'm Andy Smith.
And I'm Tim Fulton, and this is What Do You Got?
What do you got? This is when we normally take a subject that the other person doesn't know about, but because Tim has no arms, couldn't type his into the computer because he is currently a cardboard figure. So, Tim, what do you got for us this week?
Broken sleep schedule.
Broken sleep schedule.
Broken sleep schedule. We could be talking about this because of the virus or otherwise, but my sleep schedule is all sorts of fucked up.
Oh,
and
no.
It is breaking me as a human being.
So,
breaking.
Yeah, I got some pretty strong opinions on this. I think I do anyway. But tell me about what's going on with you and your sleep schedule.
Dude, I have nothing keeping me awake at night anymore. My nighttime routine has been so minimized that I'm like my father at this point. I'm ready to go to bed at 8 o'clock.
That's good.
No, because I wake up at 1.
Oh, that's not good.
No, I woke up at 1 o'clock this morning, wide awake. Couldn't go back. I spent 2 hours trying to fall asleep. Finally woke back up at 5. So I've been up since 5 o'clock, and it's gonna happen all over again. I can't live my life like this. I mean, I could.
I can't live like this.
I can't live like this, getting a good night's rest.
I need to be depressed.
But no, they say don't fuck with your sleep schedule too much because it will screw with your head. But yeah, I don't want to be the type of person who goes to bed at 8 o'clock at night and wakes up at 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't want to live that.
No, that's aggressive.
That's very aggressive.
So what I would say that though, before the madness and everything, what was your sleep schedule? Not what your optimum one is, but what was your legitimate sleep schedule?
Not good, my friend. I was one of those people who could easily stay awake till midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and then I'd be up by 6 or 7. No, I would be up by 6 o'clock, and I was one of those weekend people. I'll catch up on the weekend, which does not work. BT dubs.
Would you actually try to quote unquote catch up on the weekends, or would you not?
I would end up getting an extra 30 minutes to an hour, but my natural alarm clock wasn't that far off from my actual alarm clock. You know what I mean?
So would you go to bed earlier on the weekends and get an extra, or would you go to bed at the same time and just you just wake up a little later?
Oh, I would just wake up a little later. I'm not going to bed before 1.
Okay.
Unless the world is ending, then apparently I go to bed at 8.
Yeah. It is a weird thing, man. I know exactly what that's like because we always have this running thing where whenever we go to Vermont to see my parents, as soon as the sun goes down, everyone goes lights out because there's nothing else up there. Nobody's around. Everything's kind of shut down. And once the sun goes down, it feels like it's way later than it is because there's no stuff outside going. Nobody's awake. Nobody's texting you or anything like that. So as soon as it gets dark, unless there's a lot of people there, everyone's like, "Oh my God, what time is it?" And you're like, 6:30. And they're like, "What?" In the wintertime, 6:30 feels like midnight.
I know.
It's weird.
I know exactly what you're talking about. My parents used to have a house up in upstate New York, right outside of Saratoga, and it was the same shit.
Yeah.
Sun would go down, and you'd watch TV for half hour, hours of family, and then someone would be like, "I'm done. I'm going to bed."
Yeah, I'm done is the go-to thing in that environment. I'm done. I'm going to bed. Yeah, you done? Anyone else want to play cards or Scrabble? And there's usually always 1 or 2 people a couple days on vacation that just stay up absurdly late.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would used to have a terrible sleep schedule. So I would go to bed extremely late. I'd have to get up really early for work. And then I started going to bed reasonably on time, 11:30, definitely be in bed by midnight type of thing.
Yeah.
But I would never feel like when I woke up, it was always oh, fuck, I got to get up now. I felt way better because I got the sleep machine and all that stuff. But I definitely found that when I go to bed and I make sure that by the time I not just get in bed, but by the time it usually takes me about 20 minutes or a half hour after I get all my stuff set up and like lay down to like fall asleep. So
Yeah, people say that's a long time, but I'm in the same exact way. It takes me at least like 30 minutes.
yeah, so once I do that, I basically gauge from that time how much sleep I'll get, and I'd probably do best at about like 7 hours, 7 to 7.5 hours, like 8 if I'm like tired or whatever, or like had a long day. But as long as I get that, but the one thing that I noticed as far as how I feel mentally is if I go to bed earlier and I wake up earlier, I feel better about waking up earlier. Like I don't, and it's completely, I think, a mental thing.
Yeah.
But if I go to bed at like 9:30 and I'm in bed by 9:30, asleep by 10, that means like at the bare minimum, if I get up at 6 o'clock, I got 8 hours of sleep, which means I could probably get up at 5. But if I get up at 5 o'clock, like the difference of me getting up at 5 or 6 or 5:30 or 6:30, it changes my attitude for the whole day.
Oh.
Because you know how I am, dude. I can't really sit still if like nothing's going, like I have to be doing something.
Yeah.
So when I get up early, like I won't just like walk around and do nothing. Like I'm not one of those people that'll like turn on a video game before work. Like I just, my brain can't handle that because I know I have like this impending thing I have to do.
I'm the same way. I don't know how people get things done before work. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, like it's you're trying to literally squeeze in procrastination.
Yeah.
Which procrastination used to be my game, dude. Like I used to be the procrastinator of all procrastinators. But now when I get up early, I look at that as it's like bonus time, because when you get up before, like extra early before work, like it's not enough time to do anything fun. You can't enjoy yourself because you have to go to work soon or within a couple hours. So there's really only one thing to do, and that's like try to get stuff done that you would otherwise have to do after work, right?
Yeah.
So whether that be like getting in a little workout or doing the dishes or putting in a load of laundry or whatever. But it's almost like you found like a secret tunnel in Mario where like you get these extra coins. Like it's like extra shit, and that whole little thing, like I don't know if you were telling me about it. It's like somebody wrote that book about like making your bed in the morning. Like if you make your bed in the morning, it'll change your life because like it's something repetitive to do. That's an accomplishment, as stupid as it sounds.
Yeah, the first thing you do in the morning is accomplish something, and it changes your outlook for the day.
It's the same principle in that, I think, is like when you get up early and you don't waste that time, because it's otherwise wasted time. Like there's no reason to get up that like extra early unless you're going to do something. Otherwise, just lay in bed. So when you do the dishes or you do laundry or you maybe vacuum for a little bit or whatever, like you before you even go to work, you're like, hey, I already did shit. Like I'm fucking killing it today.
You feel like an accomplished human being.
Yeah, like it gives you a little sense of like I didn't waste the day today. So let me see. Like some people have that mentality and that outlook where if they look at it like, oh, I already did that today, so I don't have to do anything else. Like I like the people where if they wake up early and they do something like that, they're like, oh, all right, I already got this accomplished. Like how much more could I get done today? Like how much more stuff could I do? And that way, like, you know what I mean? Like it's almost like a jump start to your motivation for the day.
Yeah.
It's
a good way to look at it.
Yeah, but that only happens if you get a good night's sleep.
Do you know what's funny that I've noticed? My sleep, my like natural alarm clocks, mostly before this whole shenanigans started happening, but my natural alarm clock was not too far off from my actual alarm clock. So if I set my alarm clock for 6 o'clock in the morning, if I never set it, I probably would wake up at like 6:20, 6:30 naturally, and it would feel completely different. But because the alarm clock goes off, I'm a snoozer. I'll hit snooze and I'll keep doing it until I'm like right at the line and I have to like get my ass in gear or I'm late for work. It would almost be better for me not to set it, but I don't trust myself, so I do.
Yeah. I have
But,
this.
like,
I do the same thing with the snooze button sometimes.
yeah.
You,
My dad,
Go ahead.
My dad has never used an alarm clock.
Yeah, that's some old school shit, man.
Old school shit. He said he's been late twice in his life.
Yeah, that's like a natural gift where like he's just one of those dudes that like can get up, and there's definitely a discipline. I'm not like taking anything away from him, but there's definitely some people that are able and have like an ability. Like some people are really good at running fast. Like I feel like that is this actual skill of like being able to just wake up when you know you need to get up.
Yeah, I agree. That's a real thing. It has to be.
Yeah. And that internal the snooze button thing, a good trick to yourself, and it requires discipline. But one of the best ways to get up out of bed is, and you have to do it like say it out loud, is you give yourself 5 seconds and you count out loud. Say at 1, I will get out of bed. I will get out of bed when I say 1. And you just count down out loud. I heard this lady talking about it, and she was like, you just count down from 5. Just be like 5, 4, 3, and at 1, you get out of bed. But if you don't do it, you know in your head that your first decision of the day was to be a lazy piece of shit and go back to bed. So you don't want that to happen. Whereas hitting the snooze button is like a subconscious lazy thing. You're like, I'm tired or whatever. But when you actually count out loud, it's like an active out loud submission of like, yeah, I was beaten today by being kind of tired.
So I'm not saying that's a bad idea. It probably would definitely work for some people out there, but I can tell you right now that would not work for me. It takes a long time for rational Timmy to even become like present. So I would immediately not only would I not count down, I probably would have a thought of fuck that and then immediately close my eyes. I wouldn't even get to the numbers.
Oh, so that's that's some personal stuff you got to work on there. If you're going to use that whole thing, you just talk yourself out of it before you even start it.
Well, yeah, because there's no one there to talk me into it.
Oh, yeah, that's a discipline thing. That's not a motivation thing.
Well,
yeah.
Fuck you.
Hey, man, I'm not talking shit. I'm just trying to help you get out of bed in the morning.
I'm not talking shit. You're just not disciplined at all.
My internal clock, like you said, the internal alarm clock used to be like 2 p.m. before I got my sleep machine, because my body was just trying to kill me the entire time I was sleeping. But
you had all different sorts of issues.
I was and didn't know it for like 20 years. But so now when and this is the weird part, whereas before I could go to bed at 8 in the afternoon at night, and I would still sleep till 2 p.m. because I was just, my body never got rest. But now that I have like the machine, and it helps a lot. If it doesn't matter what time I go to bed. Like a couple days ago, I stayed up till like 2:30 or 3 a.m. I still get up at 7:15.
See, that's awesome.
Because it's partly the internal clock of like whatever, but it's mainly because I leave my doors open, and as soon as my body senses light, because my room is very dark, as soon as my body senses light, I think it goes, oh fuck, you are now late for work. Because if it is light out when you are getting up, you are late for work.
Yeah.
So that's because I always am like, literally, I have to be ready and almost in the car, except for like a couple months of the year when it's like really early light. I have to be ready to go when it's still dark. So my body knows that when it's light out, it's like, hey, dude, you're fucking up already. You're not even awake yet. So then it gets me up, but it's good, but it kind of sucks too. Like it's good because I don't get to waste the day, even if I fuck up. And another good part of that is it's a big deterrent for not staying up late, because the repercussions of it is you're still going to have to get up at 7:15 because your body's going to do it for you. Like you're going to have to suffer all day with being tired. And I don't really have that thing that a lot of people get where if they don't get a lot of sleep, they drag ass all day. Unless it's like the 5th day in a row I've done it. Like once I'm up, like I have the same energy level. Now I'm not going to be going to the gym like probably not going to be as strong or whatever, but I can pretty much get up for stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the whole internal clock thing, it's weird though. Like as soon as you have that time in your brain, and mine has to do with sunlight. Because if I shut my doors, I don't have that. I can sleep another hour or two because
I
there's
think
no sunlight.
I think that's a lot of people. And
Yeah.
I used to have that problem really bad when I was still living with my parents, because I lived in my basement too, but my basement had no light whatsoever. And I remember
Mm.
there was a couple of times I used to use my Alexa as my alarm clock. And the downfall of that is that if the power goes out for some reason or whatever happens, there are times that she fucks up and she doesn't go off.
Yeah.
So there was a couple of times she wouldn't go off, but it was eternal darkness in the basement. So you don't know what time it is.
Oh yeah.
So I remember it was at least twice I would wake up and be like, I would wake up and be like, I feel like it's been a long time and I'm really awake. And I would check my phone and be like, oh, that's because I'm an hour and a half late for work. Cool. Cool, cool, cool.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jocko Willink, I was listening to a podcast he had a couple last week or 2 weeks ago, and it was just a clip, but he was talking about not ever being late and how important it is to not be late.
Yeah.
And he was talking about waking up in the morning, and he said if you're a true person who refuses to be late or wake up late, you have the triple, like the triple whatever system, where it's you have your regular alarm clock, which could be on your phone or whatever. You have a battery operated alarm clock, and you have an analog clock, which it's like a twist timer. It doesn't need any energy to run it.
Yeah.
And he's like, if you have those three, there's no excuse, because if the power goes out, if your batteries die, you always can rely on the last one.
That's fair.
Yeah. It's a little extreme.
It is a little extreme.
But
Sorry.
The one thing I was going to say is I used to never wear a watch. I hated wearing watch. I just did not like it. As soon as I got the Fitbit watch, it's like I love having the watch on, because I like checking the time all the time.
Yeah.
I didn't realize like how convenient that is when you get up in the morning, because trying to check your phone for the time, you don't know where it is. It's on the table. But if you just like look at your watch real quick, you're like, okay, I'm not totally fucked. I only woke up 20 minutes late. Or like you look at it, you're like, I have 60 seconds to get ready for work, or I'm late. Yeah. Well, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but what were you going to say?
The whole like always being on time to work thing, I think it's clutch when you are mostly always on time or at least a little bit early, which is where I fell into for a long time. So the times that I were even drastically late, people didn't bat an eye because no one cares. Because
Yeah.
if you're constantly showing up to work 15 minutes early or 20 minutes early, whatever it is, not 5 minutes early because that's kind of expected. But if you're there 15 to 20 minutes early every single day for 4 months, whatever it is, and then one day you show up an hour late and you're like, oh fuck, I'm so sorry. People aren't going to be like, what the hell, man? You were supposed to. They're going to be like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, most of the time that is correct. If you are showing the good faith effort and you're just like, hey, I'm never late, whatever. If places have a decent reputation for being, human beings, they're going to be like, this is a one-off. Like the kid's never late. He always either shows up on time or early. Even if it's only 5 minutes early, you're always on time.
Yeah.
And then you have the one-off, and it's like, hey, look, it happens. But if you're always showing up 5 minutes late, 20 minutes late, whatever, like they look at that added up the other way.
Yeah, people, they don't do it consciously, but it's adding up in their head.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. 100%. Yeah.
100%.
So any other word on sleep? Any bad sleep stories or anything like that? I remember when I was down in working for my old company, we used to start like at a ridiculous time, and that's when I was going through like all the just the bad time, and I would get home and go to bed at like 1 or 2 in the morning sometimes, like depending on when I had to go to work, and you'd have to call in the night before to find out when you started. And I told you this 100 times, in the summertime, like some of the start times would be like 4 a.m.
Oh my
in
God.
Jersey City. So like those nights I would have to make sure I went to bed at like midnight, because I hated that job so much. It was making me miserable. So when I would get home at like 6 in the afternoon, I was like, I refuse to have no time to myself.
Yeah.
So I literally stayed awake as long as humanly possible so that I would have time to myself before I had to go back to work. And then it's like you blink, I'd get like 3 hours of sleep, wake up, and be driving to Jersey City at like 2:15 in the morning after going to bed at midnight.
That is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I'd
The
function on
fact that you
like
can
10 hours of sleep a week
I was gonna say, like, doing that in a night isn't the end of the world. Doing that as, like, a sustained amount is
for a year and a
actually
half. Yeah,
that's killing yourself.
for a year and a half. Yeah, it was like I'm pretty. If I put my mind to something, I could pretty much like not too many things I could think of like that like is like a realistic expectation at a job that I probably wouldn't be able to do. But even that, like I would not be able to sustain that without some serious mental and physical damage for too much longer than I did. It's too draining to not have sleep. And especially I didn't even have the sleep machine back then.
Yeah.
So it was just the sleep I was getting was just so mediocre. Just not good at all.
It was bad.
Yeah, but that one right there was that definitely taught me the importance of a good night's sleep. And the value of a couple hours of sleep because sometimes I just wouldn't go to bed.
Yeah.
And that is the worst thing when you just can't go to bed because your brain doesn't reset. So you think of it as like, oh, it's just another part of the same day.
It's another part of this. I've been there before, once or twice. Not a lot, but I've been there before.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever fun.
No.
It's always a bad time. It's never a good decision.
You're gonna have a bad time.
You're gonna have a bad time. So yeah. Anything else on this one?
One last quick dream story for you. I think I already told you, but I'm gonna repeat it again.
Uh-oh.
Like a week ago, I had a series of weird dreams that the first one wasn't completely bizarre. I remember I woke up, I'm looking around, and it looks like I'm on my parents' couch in my parents' living room. And
Okay.
I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, this isn't right. I remember going to bed downstairs in the basement where I used to live like 6 months to a year ago. And so I'm looking around, I'm like, but it looks like the living room. So I get up, I'm like, I must be seeing things because it's so dark out. So I turn on a light, I'm like, son of a bitch, it is my parents' living room. So then I was like, I must have slept walk upstairs. So I start going, I hit the basement, I walk down the stairs, and I stop midway in the stairs, and I'm looking, wait a minute, this is all wrong. And I wake up in real life, and I'm like, oh, okay,
Oh.
yeah, I do own a house. So so I like realized in my dream I was dreaming, and like when you have like that conscious memory of what just happened and like it felt super real. I
Yeah,
had
those
that.
are weird. Make you feel weird.
Yeah. So it just gives you like a weird ass feeling. So I had that 4 or 5 times in a row. So I go back to bed and the same thing happened. I remember I was out in on Route 23 in northern New Jersey. I was by a movie theater. I remember a kid tripped and fell, and I laughed at him. When I say kid, I mean like a toddler. So
You're a horrible
dream,
person, even in your
dr-
dreams.
dream me is an asshole. So and like halfway through that dream, I remember being like, "Fuck, no, I'm asleep again. God damn it!" Like, and like I woke back up, and I'm like, "What the fuck? Stop!" And it happened like so many times in a row that dreaming was just prepared for it. And in the last dream that I had, I was at my brother's house and we were having a conversation and I was trying to tell him, I'm like, no, you don't understand. This is a dream. None of it is real. And he wouldn't listen to me. He was just
How
saying,
dare he?
yeah, he just wasn't paying attention to me. I'm like, so out of nowhere, I'm just like, it's kind of like someone spends 10 years dieting and ends up fatter. And he looks at me and he gets all offended. And I wake up and in real life, I start giggling to myself. And that's when I decided, all right, I'm just up now. That was awesome. And I texted that to him and he was like, he's like, that's beast mode. That's fucking hysterical.
That's hilarious.
So
That's basically like that's a scary thing though. That's like the Matrix where you like that you're in something but you don't really know and then you realize it and as soon as you figure it out and prove it to someone it starts over.
It was at least 4 or 5, like to the point where it was a little unsettling.
Imagine it kept happening more and more until it became like 24/7.
Oh, fuck that. Fuck that. Absolutely.
Those weird dreams. We'll end it right after this, but those
Yeah.
dreams where like it seems really real, especially like if you have like a weird dream where like there's spiders or monsters, and you wake up, you're like, okay, like there was so many like ridiculously not real things in that I have an easy time like disconnecting from it.
Yeah.
But when they're like real, even if they're not bad, but when they're real, there's always that weird like not a rain cloud feeling, but like it's just a downy feeling after. It's not like an upbeat thing.
No, dude, I feel you wholeheartedly.
Yeah, and it's weird too because like you never remember every little piece because like your brain immediately starts forgetting as soon as you wake up. For the most part, like some dreams you can remember, but most of them you forget right away.
Yeah.
But there is that weird feeling where like it almost like ruins your day, but it only ruins your day like 38%. Like it's a weird number of depression
Yeah.
or something.
Dude, I have one that's so bad. Remind me once we turn off the mic.
Okay.
I can't even tell it on the podcast, but
That's
sorry,
bad.
yeah, it's that bad. Sorry, listeners. So yeah, dude. Any other thoughts before we wrap up this shindig?
I don't think so, man. Get some fucking sleep tonight, man. Don't stay awake. Keep your door shut. Set your alarm. Count to 5. Don't say fuck it. Count to 5. Get up. Get shit done.
I'll
And
try
that's
my
it.
best.
Yeah, that's
All right.
it.
All right, guys, that's it for the Bro Down podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe, do all that good stuff. Go to brodownpro.com for all your awesome Bro Down gear, and we will catch you guys next time.
Kind of getting used to this cardboard cutout. You might be replacing you. That's all for the BDP today, guys. Catch you later.
You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day.